Daniel, written by Cherish Monster. Daniel was different. He preferred unconventional, because that reflected a certain amount of individualism, unlike his parents and siblings. Look up ordinary in Webster's, and his family defined the word better than Noah back in 1826. Father and mother were bland at best. Brother and sister were simply mediocre carbon copies of their parents. But Daniel was different. Mentally, emotionally, intellectually. He enjoyed mind games. Not foolies, but the sort that tested one's cognitive abilities. He was a cerebral giant whose brain worked 24/7. Dreams brought solutions to problems. Complete stories unfolded during his REM sleep. But the greatest events were visits to another realm that he knew existed beyond this world. A kingdom that glistened and flickered with scarlet glow. Pleasantly mesmerizing. And who ruled this kingdom? Daniel ached so to know, yet his visions lacked focus. Daylight returned him to his family without clarity as to the heavily shrouded figure he saw only in shadows. "Get the nonsense of being somebody going places out of your head," his father told him. "Most people are just average. We're born, we live, we die, and in between it's just a struggle to survive. Wasn't nothing before, 'tain't nothing after." 10 at the time, Daniel was extremely beautiful. His mother kept telling him he was too pretty for a boy, with long golden hair that flowed lavishly over his forehead, down his back, almost to his waist. His dark eyes were intense, even frightening in their depth, which explained why any lectures from his father were brief and always with a downward gaze. 3 years later, he began to notice subtle but definite physical changes that crept over him, like a morning fog that would never burn off. Longer, thicker body hair appeared first, more than the usual adolescent growth that occurs in puberty. It was blindingly platinum. Brother said he looked gross. Sister clapped her hands and declared, "Oh, Daniel, you're just gorgeous, like something from a fairy tale, or—" "Grimm's grimmest, maybe," Brother taunted. His parents' eyes oozed misery. Father shook his head, appalled by the copious pelt that mantled his son. Mother sobbed while she frantically hunted for her sewing shears. "Oh, it broke, Grandma! Scissors!" she wailed. "And these are top of the line." Daniel smiled inside. He was even more unconventional now. When bumps surfaced on either side of his forehead, he worried because not only did they sprout overnight, they developed into wing-shaped horns. Although lovely and sleek, they certainly interfered with his penchant for hats. Brother rolled on the floor and laughed. Sister clapped with excitement. Mother sobbed. "Gotta stop this, son," his father groaned. Daniel shrugged. "How?" he asked. "How do I stop it?" Father shook his head, started to reply, then walked away, leaving Daniel bewildered. Everyone except Sister was dumbfounded when Daniel's ears stretched to massive proportions from the lobe that started just below his cheeks to the tip. At their highest point, they curved slightly inward, narrowly missing contact with his horns. "These aren't elf ears," Sister puzzled. "More like—" "Spock!" Brother roared with laughter. "He's turning into a Vulcan?" Sister's eyes widened. She stuck out her tongue, then turned to Daniel. "Demon ears," she whispered, as if to speak up might tempt the fates. "But they're attractive, alluring even." So, Daniel thought, I have overgrown hair, horns that don't know when to quit, now attractive, even alluring,
demon ears? And dreams. The dreams of the Scarlet Kingdom continued with no answers regarding its monarch. They remained in the shadows and veiled by the shimmering mist that transfixed him like a moth to candlelight. And again, mornings slingshotted himself to his family. Daniel's nose flattened and broadened. His eyes became slanted and turned from dark brown to somewhere between a tawny rose or crimson yellow. And his height grew to mind-boggling. No one dared voice an opinion but Sister. "Daniel, how tall and handsome you are! But surely you don't belong in—" She paused, waving a hand towards father, mother, brother, then herself. "You're more than we are, Daniel." "Oh," she glanced down and saw. "Your feet! How exquisite!" Father, mother, and brother gasped. The hooves were the last of his transformation. And his voice was cavernous, booming, although he spoke with no intention of yelling. Daniel's usually mellow, almost tinkling manner of speech became a stentorian thunder roll that cringed even the most dauntless listener. "Daniel," father said, his pretense of calm transparent, "looks like it's about time we tell you." "Father, do we have to?" mother begged. "You're adopted, Daniel," father announced with a distinct relief in his tone. "No, not adopted. We found you." "So I guess that makes him a foundling," brother giggled. Mother and sister gave him dark looks. Father just ignored him. "Found," Daniel mused. "Found?" he asked. "Where? How found?" "We were picnicking in Belsey." Father's eyes ballooned. "Mother," he said cautiously, slowly backing up for the nearest exit. "Oh my goodness," sister declared joyfully. "He's like Daniel." "Paterfamiliar," blared the cloaked demon. "Father?" Daniel was in awe. "My biological father?" He stretched to his full 6 feet 7 inches. "And the ruler of the Scarlet Kingdom. I've seen you in my dreams, but you refused to make yourself known." "You were unprepared, my son. Your metamorphose incomplete. But now, Krampus Jr., will you accept your place as my heir so I may retire? Centuries of dealing with naughty brats have left me so exhausted I can hardly groom myself these days." "If I truly am your son and heir, why did you not raise me in the Scarlet Kingdom?" "Because your looks would have frightened our subjects. They might have killed you with no thought of consequence from me." Daniel bit his lower lip and was lost. Deep thought. "Our species were conceived as humanoid." Krampus Sr. held up a hand to stop the question he knew was forthcoming. "No, we reproduce asexually. You see your lone parent before you, child." Krampus Jr. grinned inwardly. "Well, that form of replication lacks fun, but at least I got here, huh?" Krampus Sr. chuckled. Sister walked over and held her favourite's hand. "Stay," she failed to hold back her tears. "Please? I love you, Daniel." "I know, dear," he said, "but I must go. You have sensed this for some while now." Sister nodded a reluctant agreement. "But you can visit?" she asked hopefully. Krampus Jr. winked. "Every year, sweetheart." He looked at father, mother, brother. "Every year." "You will take your place?" Krampus Sr. queried. "Of course," he assured. "Shall we off then?" With a backward glance at the family he had known for 13 years, he departed, leaving his warning to reverberate throughout the house. Remember, I shall visit the parents, not only the children. Now, child, Krampus Senior patted his son's shoulder. About this ridiculous rumour of St. Nicholas and I being cousins. All ears, father, all ears.